Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome, Swear Nation. Glad to have everyone here. Hey, I'm Brandon Swear, and this is the Swear Word. This is your place where you can find all things hot, all right? Hey, regardless of your spice tolerance, this is a place for you. And today we got a great show for you. We have one product on deck for Hot or Not, and then we have a legendary guest here tonight, and a very fun game planned for you. So show number 17 starts now. All right. Hey, welcome. Welcome back. I am so excited for this episode. We have a great one planned for you tonight. As I mentioned before, we have a brand new game, not to mention, to release that I hope that y'all like. I know that the Sauce Gauntlet and Burning Choices is also very big, so greatly appreciate that. Hey, if you're new to the channel and this is your first time checking in, thank you so much for being here. This is a place, like I said, a show for the Chili Head community by the Chili Head community. And, we're just trying to get in front of the right people and grow and make this thing, everything that it can be. So can't do this without y'all. This is a live show. So by all means, jump in the chat. If you have questions, if you have, you want to jump in on your votes for the upcoming game, hey, fire them off in the chat. Let's get this going. This is a great time for everyone to have fun. We also have Ruthless Reapers, and I'm going to end up saying it wrong, Strigoi sauce on deck for Hot or Not. And then, of course, we have legend himself, Johnny Scoville from Chase the Heat, as our guest tonight. We're going to dive into, what it's like being a content creator. Of course, we're going to touch on Superhot, because why not? That would be a huge miss, and much, much more. So, hey, let's go ahead and get on over to Hot or Not. All right. Hey, welcome back. If you're just now tuning in, we are just now starting off on Hot or Not. So up to tonight, we have Ruthless Reapers Strigoi. So if you're following on Instagram, you would have already seen, the initial shots where we release everything first is going to be over there on Instagram. So if you're not following us there, go ahead and follow over there. That's where you'll see the initial release of who's going to be guest, as well as what products we're reviewing. So let's go ahead and dive on in here, get that taken care of. This is a perforated label, just prefer using my knife. So, all right. Great color on this. I will say, once again, if you're new checking in and you're trying to figure out how we go about our overall rating, I do things a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 to 10 scale on mine. What I do is a 1 out of 5 category max. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. From there, we add all those up, and then we average them out to get our total swear word rating. So, hey, let's go ahead and get this Strigoi opened on up. All right, so has a restrictor on here. Let's go ahead and take that off. Give it another good shake to get the top that was blocked from the restrictor. Wow. Okay. Aroma is phenomenal. Let's go ahead and pour this up. Okay. It's got a very nice, creamy, savory boldness. Man, my mouth is salivating. That is a tasty sauce. I mean, extremely tasty sauce. The aroma right off the bat almost gives a little bit of a smoky note. So I was interested to see if there was going to be a smoky flavor carried through, but it's actually not. You get a lot of the complexities right off the bat. So let me go ahead and jot down this here for aroma and flavor. Man, that that flavor is just dancing on my taste buds. It is a tasty sauce. Versatility, I'll go ahead and talk about that while I'm writing this down. Versatility on this, man, I really can't think of anything that this wouldn't pair well with. Once again, I'm not going to really tell you what you should and shouldn't use it on. I know I probably wouldn't be gravitating towards, obviously, a dessert route for this sauce. But the world is endless with this on that other end. I would actually like to see this like instead of a chili on top of a cheese fries, I would like to smother this on top with some, sauteed onions. I bet you that would be amazing. All right. So versatility and aroma. All right. So let's talk heat. I will say I've been doing a bit more challenges lately, in that realm. So, overall, I would say my tolerance is up quite a bit. This, to me, is you can definitely taste and detect the heat that's going on here. So if you are brand new to eating spicy food, this one might be on the very top end of your scale, if not already start to bum you out. But in moderation being the key, you could definitely consume this one if you are not used to eating extremely spicy foods. So now, for that being said, for a chili head, I would say this is definitely going to be on the more medium side. So let me go ahead and get that jotted down here. All right, and then burn. The burn on this one, it's not too much in the mouth. It's mostly sitting on the back of the throat. Nothing too crazy. I feel it a little bit in the top of the chest. All in all, solid burn. You're definitely going to notice that it's there. Once again, if you're not a chili head, just don't go crazy on it and you should be fine. So let me get the burn jotted down here. All right, let me hand this on over to producer Jeff. And we're going to read some ingredients. So we do have the full lineup from Ruthless Reaper, but if you've been paying attention to their socials lately, they actually just released today the new revised labeling and imagery. The skull is still there. It's just got a nice update. So definitely go check that out. We'll have Ruthless Reaper's information, website down below in the description. So you can go check those out. I believe, if I read it correctly today, all of his sauces with the update will be up for sale tomorrow. I think it said by noon Eastern. So definitely go check that out. And I'm telling you, this is phenomenal sauce. So, you're right. Let me get on over here to the ingredients. So we have apple cider vinegar, chipotle peppers, Caribbean habaneros, honey, garlic, Carolina Reaper peppers. So that chipotle pepper could quite possibly be where I was smelling a little bit of that smoky, earthy, nutty aroma, if you will. But all in all, man, phenomenal sauce, great consistency, great color. It's not a flat sauce. So if you're looking for something that has little bit here, a little bit there, you got the you can see it inside. We got, little seeds and looks like actually some of the garlic as well. So all in all, phenomenal sauce from Ruthless Reaper. Let's go ahead and get that turned there. All right. Let's get this official swear word rating rolling. So, all right, up first, we have heat coming in at 3.5. All right. Aroma, 3.8. Flavor, 4.3. Versatility, 4.1. And burn at 3.74. All right. And that's for a total swear word rating of 3.88. Hey, all in all, phenomenal sauce. Definitely go check this out. Everything for Ruthless Reaper, information on website will be linked down below. Highly recommend it. And let's get on over to the interview. Hey, Johnny. How's
Hi,
it going?
Brandon. I'm
Man,
good.
I
I
am.
appreciate you having me here. Thank you.
Oh, this is amazing to have you on the show. Loved what you're doing. I've watched you off and on since the beginning. So it's an honor to have you on here. So thank you for
It's an
that.
honor to be here. Thank you.
There's so many avenues to go down to start, if you will, but I definitely would think, given that you have almost 5,300 videos, or you're coming up on 5,300 roughly
Close to it.
out there, and what, eight years in, I mean, that's quite a feat. Obviously your overall structure and format was more grounded around your journey. You were doing this initially to share with others, your path of what you're going on. But what really was the inspiration and direction, and what initially drove you to even starting content creation?
I've always loved peppers. My dad got me into peppers when I was a kid. He had a pepper. I wanted to try it. You know how kids are. But so that started my love for it. And my youngest, oldest daughter actually she's I have families all over, Australian family now. But my daughter was a little girl, and it was my weekend with the kids, and I said, "Honey, you got to see this. This guy's going to eat a chocolate bula." She comes over and sits next to me, and this guy just went on a string of obscenities. And I don't curse in front of my kids. I don't.
Uh-huh.
Didn't then, don't now. And I couldn't like earmuff her. I couldn't stop her from hearing it. I couldn't back it up. And in that moment, I said, you know what? I started looking around, and this is 8 years ago. So there was probably, and I'm not even trying to be funny here, maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen chili channels. There was nothing. There was just nothing. And there wasn't anything. I wanted to create a channel that could be educational, family friendly, extreme, and really fun to watch. And so that was the goal. And it just sort of blew into something. I've never edited a video, and all the things that have happened has just been like just quite an amazing accident.
Oh, it's definitely amazing to watch your journey. And with every single time you would either move locations, whether it still be at the same physical home or just changing locations from state to state, it was like you literally packed all of us up with you and carried us to the next place and unboxed us there. It was quite the experience. So you did a phenomenal job, being able to continue the consistency throughout
Thank
each entire spot.
I'm sure if a psychologist were to sit me down, there's something pathological in how I approach my channel, but I don't do anything halfway. I have one speed, and it's just kind of all the way forward, and that's kind of how I've always done things. So.
Yeah, no, I mean it speaks to who you are, and I've heard you say it quite a few times as well. It's as long as you are staying true to yourself, that you don't really have to worry about or think of, hey, what did I say here? Or what did I say there? So it's an easy way to live if you think about it, but often people struggle with it. So hey, kudos for that. Let's see here. We've got quite a few people that are jumping in. I'm going to be repositioning that so I can still see as well. It looks like we've got quite a few people jumping in. Welcome. Glad that everyone's here. We just did the Hot or Not product review. Now we're jumping on in over to the interview. So, hey, I guess with where we left off, I would just like to ask, I don't know if I've ever heard you be asked this before, but once again, with all the wild and different places that you've lived, done shoots indoors, outdoors, etc., we'll limit this first part of the question to U.S. based. Of all the places that you've either lived and shot, is there one place that I don't want to use it as like a quote unquote happy place, but your most ideal favorite place that you shot?
What a great question. I got to tell you something. I've been interviewed so many times, and you don't know how rare it is to get asked a question you haven't been asked before. That's beautiful. Thank you, Brandon. Probably, you know what? When I moved to Reno, my dad's health was failing. Um, Tomorrow is the 3 year anniversary of when he died. So that period of time was probably one of the most important to me because I think it bought him time. It was a real bonding experience. You know, he'd light up. I'd say, "Hey, the first time I said, hey, let's do a cheese. I said, let's make a video." He goes, "I don't like hot stuff, Johnny." I said, "Well, we'll do a cheese video. You love cheese." He goes, "But you have a chili channel. What if the people are upset? Like, what are they gonna fire me? We're gonna do some chili, some cheese." So we did a cheese video, and that just kind of did a whole cheese thing, and and it was really a beautiful thing because he ended up in the Netflix special. I was fortunate enough to be in We Are the Champions on Netflix, and he was in that, which was stunning to me. And the coolest thing, as a head nod, I became really good friends with Brian Scope, the producer of Superhots, and he saw we talked a lot. He knew the influence my dad had on me, and I mean, just out of an homage and out of a respect thing, they put 3 clips of my dad in Superhots, which was, I got to tell you, when I saw that, it was amazing. So probably shooting in Reno with my dad was probably the most significant with me
Okay.
so far.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, that was awesome time as well. And I do remember, I didn't catch all of those, but I do remember some of those cheese samplings that y'all would do. And they were so awesome. I mean, yeah, I can only imagine the time that you had there, being able to bond and do what you also, do what you love in front of the camera, but also having that on camera to be able to, enjoy and reflect as well later on. Yeah, it's definitely got to be a nice touch. So I completely understand. I was trying to think through, as far as, you always get asked, all the questions, which I'm sure we'll probably see pop up in the chat as well, craziest challenge, this, hottest, that, et cetera. But, overall, I know over time your palate has changed, whether it be for peppers, et cetera, and notes that you didn't like. But what do you think it was for you that really started to make that change happen? Was it just sheer volume of trying more pods and stuff that you didn't like the overall flavor of that kind of changed that for you? Or do you think it was just like a wine connoisseur kind of starts to pick up other notes?
You need an award for your questions, Brandon.
Well, I appreciate it.
They're stellar. I mean it. You have no idea. This is great. I think it's probably a combination of the two. Number one, volume. I've eaten so many more of them. People have heard, like, I don't drink. I'm sober, but like bourbon, I've heard it, or Jack Daniels or something like. It's an acquired taste. The first person someone takes a sip of tequila doesn't go It's something that you kind of grow into.
Yeah.
And I think with peppers, it was the same way. The first time I had a Superhot, I ate it, but it wasn't something I enjoy the flavor. And like early on, like floral was something that would make me want to throw up. And now I love floral, which is just the most surreal thing to me because it was like season 1, I almost chucked a few times. And every time it was because of a very floral pepper. And now it's become what I love. So I don't know. It's a hard thing I think it's probably a combination of the two. Just I've gotten better to being able to describe what I'm tasting, and just the sheer volume probably helped.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I just didn't know if there was, maybe something that was a light bulb moment for you, but
not really a light bulb moment. It's a really funny thing. Like a wine connoisseur, they love new wines, even if it's something that, like, even if I taste a pepper I don't like. To me, it was a thrill. I got to taste a new pepper. So to me, it's just a thrill whether I like the pepper or not. Now, most of the time, I like peppers that I eat, but early on, there were a lot of peppers I didn't enjoy. I didn't like habaneros when I first started the channel, and now I love them. So.
Yeah. I'll say, even from my own experience, I've noticed over the last few years. So, and I know you'll talk about this quite a bit, and it's a very true thing to just say. If someone's never had a habanero before, it's a very stinging. It's a full on like mouth stinging assault, if you will. But recently, I got, like there was like 8 ounce, it was a 4 ounce containers, but I got 2 of them because they were like $2.50 a piece. And I was just like, why not? So I was actually just eating them with my lunch. And it was, as I was sitting there, I started to realize like it's not really a mouth sting anymore. Now it's just, I taste more just solid sweetness at this point. And so it's interesting. I gave one to another person I work with because they're like, well, you're just eating those like candy. And I was like, well, they just taste like candy to me. And so someone else took a bite of it and they were upset, but I warned them to only take a small bite. Well,
I've had people that have said to me, "You're full of it, Scoville. There's no smokiness. There's no citrus notes in what you're tasting." And the truth is that if you want to taste more, raise your tolerance because your brain can't process two things at one time. If you're burning up and you're in pain, you can't shelf that emotion and that feeling while you talk about the flavors. The flavors are gone.
Yep.
So the higher your tolerance gets, the more wide open your taste buds are. Really
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know you had mentioned earlier, and I wanted to figure out a way to bring this into the conversation anyways, but the sobriety aspect. I know your brother Tommy does the lifeboat. I also know, there's that avenue going on. I know that you recently talked about even as recent as talking about Goot and his path, which, shout out Goot on that. Congratulations. Huge shout out on that. But, what obviously you have your personal experience from it, but what's the real driving factor behind all that?
I'm glad you asked. I don't dodge a question. I didn't really even remember saying it, but apparently in the show, I said something that I was like, wow, that's good. I think when I was a kid, I just felt like a drug addict that just hadn't found his drug yet. And that was just me. And I went on a quest and I tried them all and I abused or was addicted to pretty much everything. And 14 years ago, I quit all of the hard ones. And then this April 10th, it'll be 5 years from alcohol. And the driving force was probably being a YouTuber because I don't have a boss anymore and I can do what I want whenever I want and no one's going to that was a problem. So I'm not a front man in a rock band. I'm a chili head. I don't need to be drinking like that. So I just decided, I decided on April 10th, I'm done. And one thing that's happened over time, and this happened really before I even made the decision to get sober myself, because now I'm sober much more of my channel than I wasn't, which is great. But this whole sobriety. There's so many people in the chili world that are sobriety from one thing or sober from one thing or another, and because you're in the chili world and you've interviewed people, talk to everybody, but you name the substance, and somebody in our community has quit it and will absolutely tell you that chili's made it easier. And and I've said this, I bet I've said it 100 times, but it's proven that higher levels of capsaicin drive up your serotonin levels. And serotonin helps people deal with better with anger, anxiety, stress, depression. And those are triggers.
Yep.
So I think there is an absolute beautiful, wonderful, glorious correlation between sobriety and capsaicin. And so I'm never going to stop eating them. And I'll have the guy that says every time I talk about it, someone will say, so you quit one addiction for another, you picked up one addiction for another. And my answer is, you bet.
Yep.
All day. It's healthy, it's legal, it brings people together, it doesn't push people away. They're good for you. I mean, they taste great. They're a great painkiller. There's a million benefits. It's just a beautiful thing. So that's one addiction I'll trade for any day.
Yeah. And, to what you were saying about the benefits. I mean, I talk about it all the time at work with others, and it's like, man, the second my head starts hurting, or I got, not to get too carried away on that, but like I got pretty banged up from time in the military. But and whenever I feel like that pain really starts to take hold, that's where I just dive in head first and get my endorphins dumping and just ride it out. And at the same time, it's like, as that burn starts to kick in, it's crazy how much all the other muscles just start to loosen up and just chill out. And
it's a beautiful thing. It
yeah.
really is. And thank you for your service, Brandon.
Oh no, no, it's my my honor to have done that. It was something that I was I guess hell bent is not the proper term, but hell bent to do. So congratulations on as Sundance said, congratulations on your sobriety as well. I was actually talking to my wife right before coming over here to the studio about how I've noticed, even just on my personal, on my own, if you will. So I do drink, but I don't drink often, or that often, if you will. But I've noticed, really, as I've started to dive in more to challenges and eating more often, increasing my overall heat intake, if you will. I've really dialed back on that just without even knowing it. And that's just it's a blessing in its own self, because the amount that you're saving as well is also nice, because then that money gets to go elsewhere.
Let me tell you, Brandon, I have saved, just since you brought it up, $14,272 in the last 1,784 days. So
Wow.
I'm more proud of my sobriety than I am my channel.
Hey, that's awesome. That is awesome, and the fact that you're able to track that is pretty cool too. I fear to think what I, over a lifespan, what I had potentially spent to this point on
I spent
stuff.
over $1 million on substances in my life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think I'd be shocked at my number as well. So, all right.
It's so silly, because all the things, that money that I spent for substances, I was trying to feel what I feel like right now, and I'm stoned sober. And someone said yesterday, I'd never heard this before, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, but sobriety is giving up one thing for everything. And it's just an amazing thing.
Yep. I think, I guess the not to get too carried away into it, but I think the quote from Head from Korn, where he talked about leaving all of that behind and finding God. He felt he thought he needed all those things to feel like he was complete, but only thing he found out is the more that he got those things, the more empty he felt. And it wasn't until he had God to fill that void that he felt whole again. So it's amazing, but.
It's a good thing, because my channel doesn't. It's not a surprise. I'm a believer, and my channel knows it. And usually you'll get heat for that. And I've always said, I don't. If you want to, whatever your get down, I'm not going to give you a hard time for it. Just don't give me a hard time for what I do.
Yep.
So everybody's been very supportive. I don't get heat for that.
Yep. No, I actually believe that as well. And it's like, if someone's going to hate me for it, that's on them. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to force it on them either. It's not that I'm just trying to shove, I'm not trying to put the Bible in your hand. I'm just trying to let you live your life and tell you about how I live my life. So, yeah. On that note, I know that you have many, many different things that you're involved in, but Harvest 912, doing great things for the less fortunate, if you will. And I guess tell me how that whole thing got started. I know that there's now two different. Correct me if I'm wrong, but two different spots. There's two different states that are now running up with this project. So what's all that about?
It's it's probably one of the best things that's occurred from the channel. To try to cover it real quickly, what happened 3 years ago? I've been calling my channel the bus. Dead show. Jerry Garcia said, "I'm the driver. It's your bus," and it just resonated with me. So I've kind of said that about my channel, and I got a letter, a written letter from them, and it said, "We're on your bus, but we have an idea. We have our hearts broken. We want to get a bus, a real one though, and we want to put." They told me this in the letter. It's crazy. We want to have a podiatrist on there. We want to go to the hood and give shoes to homeless people, and give necessities and essentials. And I'm like, well, how can I help? And they're like, well, you review stuff. If we have a company called Mad Cow, we make products, and 100% of the profit, every penny that they make from that goes towards harvest. If you'll review our products, it could help. So I said, sure, absolutely. So we started doing that. And, everybody can talk a good game. Everybody can tell you ideas. Everybody's got some $1 million idea. They executed that thing. I've been on it. I've done 3 clinics with them. We wash people's feet. They've given over 500 pairs of shoes away to men and women and kids. And right now, it started in Erie. Carolina Boot Company is the company that our exclusive deal with. They've given us over 500 pair of boots. At any rate, I've been to 3 of these where it's a life-changing event. If you experience something like that, it will change who you are. You'll never pass by somebody who's down and out the way I always did. Anyway, here in Tucson, we have there are people. Chad Matthews is a great guy, and there's some other really, really wonderful people here that have a heart for the homeless. And it was funny. I talked about it today on my channel on a bike ride I did today. I just want to help as many people as I can before the lights go out, and that's really what my thing is. This first half of my life, I did really poorly. I didn't do it right, and now I'm trying to fix it.
Amen. Hey, I definitely agree with that. I think that's human nature as a whole. We tend to, as children, we kind of start out great because, we're innocent children. And then as you start to get affected by the way of the world, you start to deviate off into your own path. And I feel like it's almost our goal and our intent to find out where and how we can make the most positive impact to those around us. And the way I've always viewed it is, if I can be that positive impact for the people closest to me, and then the community around me, and then just let it keep radiating out in waves, that's the overall goal. Now, is that always the easiest thing to do? No. Is that something that, it's always top of mind? I try to, but you know what? We're still tested and fated by the world, and it's our it's our path to try to hold strong on. So that's the focus.
Man, I agree. We couldn't get off the couch without dopamine, because doing something, the reward. That's why we do what we do.
Yep.
And you can, like, if somebody smokes a cigarette, they can determine it's 2.5 times the dopamine level from smoking a cigarette, from drinking, from whatever drug, from holding a baby. And they've determined, you can Google this, I'm not even making this up. The man who started Home Depot wrote a great book about it called The Science of Servitude, or A Lifetime of Servitude. But if you help somebody with nothing coming back, no ulterior motive, go out of your way to help somebody you don't know that just needs it. And I swear to you, they have proven that is the highest dopamine dump a human being can receive.
That is awesome.
Oh my gosh, help people. Here's the bottom line is, whatever you want more of, give it away. If you want more love, give more love away. If you want more respect, give more respect away. And if you want more money, give it away. Whatever you want more of, you've got to give it away. And I've learned that's very, very real. And that was my girl, Chili Mama Bird, right there.
That definitely makes sense and hits home. So and Bree, glad to have you in the chat. I don't know what time it is there, but it can't be a very pleasant hour.
No, it's really. She's good.
Okay. All right.
It's like not even, is it noon there? What time are we looking at here? We are 12:30. It's not even 1:00 in the afternoon tomorrow, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Well, then I was way off on my calculations, but all right. Well, once again, glad to have you in the chat, Bree. All right. Well, to, I guess, quickly touch on something from your time with Harvest 912. I said it was probably going to come up, so I might as well ask the question. If you had to pick between jumping in the tent with the Primot Tali grenade or chugging the bottle of plutonium, which one are you taking?
If I had to do it like right now,
Yeah, you had to do it over
jump
again.
in the tent any day,
All right.
any day. That was listen. The plutonium is way more painful, but we have an idea. Tad and I have a really great idea. He's got 20 of those grenades. He has 20 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get another tent and we're going to fill the grenade with tincture.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
But this time we're going to get a big enough tent that I can get in it and stay on the close side so we can throw the grenade to the far side so I can be in the tent when it goes off. I'll have
Oh,
earplugs in. But that's what we're going to do next. The
that,
short.
that is going to be a extremely intense challenge. I can only speak to, I recently actually spilt, and it wasn't even like it was the hottest tincture that I've had, but I spilt some tincture on my the Apple Watch band. That's like that silicone ish, and it just absorbed in there, and it just stopped hurting. And this was like a week and a half ago, and it just stopped hurting 2 days ago. And I've washed the bands numerous times.
Going
It
to stay with you for a while.
yeah, it'll stick in there, and
It's the
so
most underused weapon. We shouldn't be dropping bombs on people. We could just spray capsaicin. I'm not. Listen, when I was at Blazing Foods one day, we had the vent. We were cooking tube of terra peanuts, and the vent was still making noise. So the motor was working, making sound, but it stopped sucking, and we couldn't tell because it was still making noise. Everybody in the building got cap cramps from breathing the fumes.
I
I'm
believe
not
it.
joking. It was unbelievable. So people don't realize the power of capsaicin. Why do you think they use it for extraction grenades? Why do you
Yep.
think they spray bad guys with it?
Yep.
Because it
Yep.
takes all the fight out of you.
Oh, absolutely. And since you brought it up too, I'll say, and I know you've heard this a million times, but the tube of terror is the thing that wrecked me absolutely the hardest out of any challenge ever. And so whenever I first had it, was actually the first time I met you in person. I believe it was the 2018 Zest Fest. You had just, I don't know if the tube of terror had just come out like a few months before or what the case was, but I know you had just dropped Chase the Heat 1. And I still have it, the autographed bottle sitting on my shelf. But I bought the bottle, got the tube. You handed me 2 peanuts. Then I ate those there with you. And then I did the gauntlet of all the sauces. But I went home. I still have the video. It's hidden on my YouTube, but it's there. Maybe one day I'll share it with the rest of the world. But this was me in 2018. And I'll tell you now, I thought my idea of prep was prep, and I did not know how to prep because I completed the challenge perfectly fine, went through it all, and I was actually like super, it affected me, obviously, like face vibrating, et cetera, et cetera. But man, that was not even the part that got me. The part that got me was the next, 4 or 5 hours of just highs and lows of the cap cramps and the endorphins and et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah, it's brutal.
they're tasty
We're gonna be.
peanuts.
This weekend. We'll be at Fiery Foods, and we're gonna have. I'll have 30 tubes of Terra 1, the first one, and 30 tubes of the 2.0. That's a great one. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Those are great. I definitely recommend, if you haven't tried them, if you are into extremely spicy foods and you want to, either increase your tolerance or test your metal and go full send, definitely check those out.
I'll be willing to bet you a third of the tube of terrors we've sold are just sitting on people's shelves.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's
I believe
okay
it.
if that's real. I've signed 1 million of them, and a lot of people just say I've given them away to, like, I've been in places where I was in an airport once, and I was about to snap at a person behind the counter because I've been waiting forever. It was a horrible night, and I felt this little tap on my side, and I look over, and it was a little boy, and he goes, "Aren't you Johnny Scoville?" And I was about to light into this person behind the counter, and I went, "Yeah, I am." And the kid's mom grabs him and goes, pulled the kid away from me. He's like, this man? He goes, yeah, mom, it's Johnny Scoville. He eats peppers. So I talked to the person by the counter. We ended up having a 24-hour layover. So I talked with this woman for like 5 or 6 hours. Her kid was like, just his eyes were like this big. And at the end, I signed a tube and gave it to him and said, don't let him eat these. Just when he's 20, let him, he can say he has them. But
that's
it's a
awesome.
gold standard rite of passage since Sundance. I love it.
Yep. It definitely is. If your path is to become, go full send on being a chili head at some point, you got to tackle the tuba terror. I've done both of them.
Your tolerance is up, bro. You've been hitting the tank.
Yeah.
I think you probably would destroy a tuba terror now.
Now I bet it wouldn't be anywhere near as bad as it was then. At that point, then I was maybe eating 2-3 Superhots a day, in the summer, and like I thought I was doing great, right? No, that humbled me very quickly. Like I said, I completed the challenge, which was my main goal, but paid for it afterwards. So. But yeah, no, it looks like we have a few questions in the chat. Let's go ahead and grab a few of those before we definitely ask a few more of these other ones. All right. Hey, we got Ruthless Reaper in the chat here. What fresh pod are you most looking forward to?
Good question, Ian. Thank you for being here. I love your sauces, bro. Well, you know what? I don't really know. Here's the funny thing. I think I don't know. I know that every grow ride that I've encountered has a secret project. They all do. So I don't know. I use this example. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. It was a milestone nobody could touch forever. Well, he broke it, and since he's broken it, it's been broken. 127 people have done it. Well, the minute it can be done, people can do it. I know that we can make hotter peppers, so I know that people are out there doing it. So I don't really know. I know the weird ones. The ones I'm most excited about are the happy accidents where God does a number on somebody in their garden, and he goes, "What is that?" That's the one I'm most excited about eating. I don't know what it is yet, but I can't wait.
Yep, absolutely. All right, KDB, do you own a pair of silly socks, and if so, what's the design on them?
Do you want to hear something funny? I own one pair of silly socks, and they're peppers, and I got them from Brie, and they were a gift from my girl. Oh, that's it. It's the true story. They're red and white. They're great.
Very nice. I got a black pair with peppers on it, and then I think the only other pair of silly socks I have I have an English Bulldog, so I got English Bulldog socks, and
nice.
those.
What's his name?
Bentley the Bulldog. And so real fun story.
So listen, forever I've been saying that I wanted a Bulldog, and if I did, my brother, if he was standing here, he'd fall over. I said I would name it Bentley. I swear to you. That's amazing. I'm floored by that.
That's awesome. So when we bought him, because initially I was
got a loan, right?
Oh yeah, it was a long time saving, right? To make sure that happened.
Good purchase.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I love him to death. He's the most spoiled bulldog ever. He gets carried to bed every night, and he gets picked up off the bed. So he lives a very great life. But when we got him, they said his name, and I'll tell you how I heard it first. His name is Chunk, and I was like, okay, that's I get it. Like bulldogs are chunky, like I get it. So maybe Chunk it is. And so I was like, all right. So Chunk, I don't know if I can call him that. I was like, so we're just going to go with Bentley. And
then close to something to get canceled over. You got to go with Bentley.
Yeah. Well, and then so we were like, well, we can't just ditch his name if that was his name. So we called him Bentley, and we gave his middle name Chunky Man. And so he's Bentley Chunky Man. And
you can't fat shame dogs, man. He can be as big as he wants to be. It's okay.
Absolutely. But the funny thing was, afterwards, I went to go look back on their website to like grab some of his baby photos, if you will, and I realized his name was Chuck. So this whole time,
Get out
I
of
thought
here.
it was Chunk, and it was really Chuck.
That's so funny.
So yeah, Bentley Chunky Man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How long did you call him Chuck before you figured out his name was Chuck?
Well, we we only really called him a Chunky Man, off and on for the first 6 months or so, because his name was Bentley. We just kept calling him Bentley, and so yeah, it was one of those things that once we found out, we were like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right, here we go. We got another one from Never Better Club. Johnny, when are you? It says, you are the innovator for challenges. Any new challenges coming from Blazing Foods Kitchen soon?
We got a dandy. We have one we're about to release. In fact, he was talking about bringing some out to this weekend to Fire Foods, but I'm going to encourage him not to because I want to roll it out. Yeah, we're about to release. It's going to be, I'm predicting right now, it's going to be the biggest chili challenge that has ever happened to the chili world. I swear to you. In fact, when we're done, you and I stay on for a couple minutes and I'll tell you what it is. I just can't talk about it on the air, but we have one we're about to release. It's done in the bag, named everything, and it's going to set the chili world on fire. I don't mean it, not pardon the pun. It's going to be the biggest challenge that's ever happened. Mark my words. It's going to be bigger than the one chip challenge.
I can believe it with Tuba Terror in that lineup. I can definitely believe it because Tuba Terror.
I can't wait for this to end so I can tell you won't believe it.
I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. All right. I have one or let's see what time it is. Yeah. Let's ask. All right. So as far as I know, your next adventure is to get to Australia. Is that where you are going to continue on the channel, or do you think the channel will then take a turn to be more? I don't know. Or do you think that you'll potentially post less, since obviously that would be a grand time to spend with the ones that you love? Or
Great question. Big things are going to happen in Australia. I've got a letter from the producer of Superhots to the Australian consulate saying, and I quote, it says, the only thing that Johnny loves more than peppers is a girl that lives in your country. And I don't know why you won't let him over there. Can you cut us a break? We'd like to shoot season 2 over there. So there's a lot of things that we have planned for Australia. But when I get there, she's a chili head. Bree's a chili head. She's the real deal. So we're going to be making a ton of videos. So if anything, it's definitely going to evolve. There'll be an evolution. The thumbnails will be a lot prettier. And we're going to have a good time. So I don't think it's going to slow down. Here's the thing, if you look at I love Steve-O.
Mm-hmm.
Look to see Steve-O and I do something. But Steve-O, if you look at what he does, that dude carries injuries for the rest of it. When they bury him, he's got injuries from what he did. Yep. I don't do that. I mean, I have challenges, but my gig is a lot easier than Steve-O's. So I may get to a point as I get longer in the tooth where I back off on the challenges a little bit. I probably won't, but this is like the warrior doesn't leave the battle till the fight's over. So I can't imagine not making videos. And I love Bree a lot, and she's a chili head, so we're going to be doing a lot of videos together.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun to see. So definitely looking forward to the future for that as well. How about we go ahead and roll on over to our new game? All right, here we go.
Let's do this.
All right. Hey, so here is the fun game that we are starting out. I wanted to get a little bit more specific on these peppers, but for sake of simplicity for everyone watching, like I said, trying to focus on those that have, either been in the game a long time and those that are just now entering. These are going to be all peppers that they would have likely heard of. I have also only put down this doesn't have to constitute for a red pepper of this variation, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So The name of the game is keep 5, drop 5. So you're gonna be cutting 5 of these out of, hypothetically out of your life in this scenario, and you're gonna be keeping 5 in your life out of this scenario. So we'll go ahead and scroll around these, and I'll read them off for those that are going to be listening later as we edit this down for the Spotify and Apple Podcasts. There we go. So we got the 7-pot Primo. We got the Brain Strain. We have the Jalapeno. We have the MOA Scotch Bonnet. We have the Trinidad Moruga Scorpion. The Habanero. The Chocolate Primot Tali, which made this list for you. And then the Banana Pepper. And then the bubblegum variety is really all I was trying to go for on that one.
Right. Boy, it's pretty.
And then we got one more.
What's
sorry.
The last one? What are those last
Bujalokia.
Okay. All right. So I got this.
And all these pictures, so everyone knows, are grabbed off of Justin White's of White Hot Peppers. So if you, other than the Primo, that's pulled straight off of Troy's website. So if you're looking for seeds for these, those are your respective places to get these seeds.
All right. I'm ready for this. Are you ready?
All right. Which would you want to go first, cut or keep? We're going to drag these one by one.
We'll go alternate. We'll start with a keep. We're going to
right.
keep the 7-pot Primo, and I'll quickly tell you why. Number
All
one,
right.
it's the logo on the banner of Chase the Heat. That pepper is a pepper that's a 7-pot that Troy Primo actually grew, and he sent me that picture for my banner. So not only that, it's wicked hot. It was the hottest pepper from the Superhot the season for the first season. So that's definitely a keeper.
All right, there we go. You heard it, 7-pot.
Is I got to get rid of one. I would get rid of, believe it or not, right to the right of it, the red brain. I would get rid of the. Now let me explain to you why.
Okay.
It's not one of my favorite tasting peppers. I've had some that have them, but overall, it's not my. I prefer chocolate over the red. But now the next one is a keeper, jalapeno. I have to keep jalapeno just because it's such a legendary pod. They're so snackable. They're so versatile. I'd have to keep those. This is going to be a shocker for some people because I would not keep the Scotch bonnets.
All right.
And the reason is because of the remaining peppers. But I love Scotch bonnets. All right, so I would keep the
one right next to it.
Okay, so we got
sorry, I was trying to tell producer Jeff which one to.
Jeff's doing a banging job, by the way. Jeff, you're a rock star. Okay, so we're going for a keeper or get rid of. We're going to keep. I'm going to keep the scorpions.
Okay.
Now, there's a reason, by the way, for all of this, and the reason isn't just because I love all these peppers. If I'm on an island, I'm going to crossbreed some of these peppers, and that's the reason I'm picking the peppers I'm picking.
Okay.
All right, so I would keep the scorpion for that reason because it's great to cross.
Yep, there you go.
So now we're getting rid of one. This one's going to be one that's going to shock people. So I'm going to get rid of the Scotch bonnet. The habanero.
Okay.
And that's a tough one too because the Scotch bonnet and the habanero are really close. They're similar, and I've just got rid of both of them. I'm on an island. But there's a reason for it. All right. So
I think I already have it figured out on which ones you're going to keep on the remaining.
What do you think I'm going to do next?
I think you're going to keep the. So I know one for certain. You're keeping the Primot Tali.
Yes, sir.
And I'm at a tear between these next two because I have heard you speak about your love for both of them. We'll put it that way. So it's either going to be the boot or it's going to be the banana pepper.
It's the boot. You got it. But listen, seriously, if you look at the peppers, you keep the chocolate Primot Tali, and you keep the boot. If I'm on an island and I'm there with Brie, are you kidding me? Do you know what we can do? Crossing the 7-pot Primo with all those other pods, and that's a happy happy island right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a great game.
It hey, that's the first time of keep or cut. So I know
And
I
you
saw
could
the
do that
chat
with
popping off with
sauces,
some
bro.
in here. What
Yeah,
was
you
that?
could do that with sauces. There's so many variations with that. Well, you've done that with sauces.
One of the final things.
Oh, the final ones are going to be the far right and the far left. That were keeps.
Yeah, both corners. Both corners will keep that. Yep. And I know that's kind of, and don't get me wrong. I feel bad about the Scotch bonnet. I feel bad about none of those X's were fun to do, but
Yeah.
the check marks
It,
are must.
it definitely wasn't intended to be necessarily an easy one, but at least with the habanero and the Scotch bonnet being on the list, it was simply of, do you like more of the stinging or do you like more of the flavor? I was trying to have little nuances of variation, if you will.
No, you did great. I'd be willing to bet you if you asked Bree, she would have said she's probably grimacing a little bit about the Scotch bonnet and the habaneros. She would have wanted one of those two in the mix. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I would have gone. Well, not I think. I know I would have gone with keeping the brain strain, but man, that is so. If I had to pick a try three that I mean, it's the ones that I grow every year. I always grow a Primo. I always grow one of the Mama varieties, and I always grow a brain strain of some sort. I don't know what it is. I'm drawn to the brain strains. I can eat them like candy and at the same time respect the burn that they bring. So
I know somebody who's crossing a chocolate Primot Tali with a 7-pot brown.
oh,
And I'm telling you, the 7-pot brown is a wicked, wicked pepper. It's one of the most underrated Superhots. It is so bloody hot. Every time I've had a 7-pot brown, I've been stunned by it. And I think a chocolate Primot Tali crossed with a 7-pot brown is going to make a wicked combination.
I'm definitely interested in that. That sounds like it would be a really fun one. I know the 1 year I grew 7-pot browns. My pods for some reason just all came out sweet, except for one plant. It had some heat to it, but the other two, so I grew 3 of them. 2 of them, they just grew out kind of sweet and not much heat at all to it. The other one grew, it grew and it had some heat, but the pod sizes were drastically different too. The sweet ones were actually like a bit more bigger pods and a lot thicker as far as the wall. The other ones were, I guess normal size for just a 7-pot in general, but just drastically hotter.
Right. I've noticed a trend over this past season. The last 2 seasons, I've noticed something happening more and more where I'm noticing sweetness in Superhots. And that is just not a real common flavor on a piping hot pepper. You get like a Primot Tali, and sweet isn't something you get. And I've had the last 2 seasons, there are higher incidents of Superhots that have a sweetness to it, which is shocking. Some of them were Dragon's Breath. I had some that Tom Broom grew that were so sweet, they were almost surreal. It was bizarre. So I don't know if it's my tolerance, is your tolerance can affect your ability to taste sweetness in peppers. I'm not sure. And maybe that's what's causing it, or that growers are getting it right, but peppers are getting better tasting all the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm still baffled by a lot of these growers that are out there just crushing it. I mean, huge harvests, rock star looking peppers, both in size and wickedness. Definitely can't say enough about these growers out there currently. So shout out to all the growers that are watching. I know I see Jacob Deathridge in the chat, and man, that Jacob can definitely, he's got some beasts in that arsenal.
When you're in a crib and you're this big, when your name is Jacob Deathridge, you're like, you're going to grow peppers when you get older. When your name is Deathridge, you have to get into the pepper business. So that he did the right thing.
Yep.
It's not just a clever name. He's good at it.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, at least that angle. So no. Jacob, you're definitely in the right space for that. Well, hey, let's go ahead and why don't we do the hot seat? So just in case you don't know, or if anyone's watching that doesn't understand what the hot seat is a nomination where it's somebody that you think would be a great fit to have as a guest on this show.
Boy, you know what? Can I nominate 2 people if they're a team?
Yeah.
I really would nominate.
I often have people that will nominate once on here, and then I tend to get other messages as others come to mind. But yeah,
I would do Harvest 912 just because they have a good heart and they're doing something good. I swear to you, some of the best tasting challenges in all of League of Fire and anywhere at all are challenges that they make. They make delicious stuff. And I think, and they're great interviews. They're great chemistry, great energy, and they would be a super, super interview.
Awesome. All right.
Blame me for that. Tell them that I dipped them in the grease. It's my fault.
We'll do. I'll definitely let them know that you nominated them. So
they're good people. They have good hearts, man. I'm so proud of my association and my affiliation with them. I really am.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely looking forward to reaching out to them. I'll be reaching out likely either tomorrow or the next day. It just kind of depends how my schedule plays tomorrow, but definitely be on the lookout for a message, and I will we'll get some time slated to have you on the show.
If you need any help with Harvest 912, you let me know. I'll help you knock them over.
All right.
If you ever want me back on, Brendan, I'm telling you right now, this is no joke. I've been interviewed a million times. You asked me the most original, unbelievable questions I've ever been asked. And for that, I thank you. And thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for all the kind words. Hey, I don't want you to forget to have a chance to not only, I know everyone here definitely knows how to get to you and knows how to find you and where you're at, but this is your chance to be able to plug away, whether that's your stuff, whether that's Harvest 912 stuff, what you got going on, etc. And this is a great time for those Audible listeners to, audio only, to be able to hear it as well.
Here's the thing. I would, everybody go check out Harvest 912. Make them your chili charity of choice. Just by eating hot stuff, you can help people. That's one. Check out the Lifeboat. My brother's helping people get sober. That's important. And my son, Johnny Scoville Jr., has his own channel, doing what I do, reviewing stuff, and he's great at it. So go check out my son, Johnny Jr., give him a follow. All
right. Hey, y'all heard it. Hey, Johnny, once again, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an honor. And I look forward to having you on again. There's still so much, obviously, to unpack, and it's, as you said, such a great conversation that we're having here. Look forward to the future on having you back on the show. And
just stay away.
Thank you. Hey.
All right. Have a wonderful night. Love you guys.
Love you. All right. Hey, man, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode tonight as much as I did. This was such a fun time. Not only everything from, the product review, the interview, of course, and then the new game at the end. Let me know what y'all thought of the game. As we were discussing it, I think there is a lot more variation and variety that we can still add into it. It's fun. It's great to see. I saw Jacob mention it, the grower showcase aspect of it too. So, appreciate y'all's input on that. And once again, thank y'all so much for being as active as y'all were in the chat, firing off, letting us know not only questions as well as, what your take was on the Keep 5, Cut 5. So definitely appreciate everyone here that was live in the chat. Look forward to doing this again. Once again, I cannot thank podvision.io enough for what they do here. I know I've said it time and time again, but if you are looking to start a brand, jumpstart a brand, you have no clue what you're doing, but you have a great idea, you just are struggling to figure out how to get it out for everyone, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for that. Hey, also, please like, comment, subscribe. We are trying to grow the YouTube channel right now. That is the primary focus. So if you're not following on YouTube, please go ahead and give us a follow. It means a lot, and it also lets me know that I'm doing things right over here. So, hey, this has been the episode 17. Wow, we are flying by. Episode 17. I'm Brandon Swear. This has been the Swear Word, and from everything of the world of hot, let's get it.